Hey everyone, this is my 12th devlog, and I've got a few things to show you. So first off, if I go into the spell menu here, we can see that I've added the MP cost and time cost. Now, this menu is ugly, I know. I actually want the time cost maybe not to just be listed here. Well, maybe it will be too, but when you hover over a certain ability to maybe show on the time meter how much time it's going to eat up and where you're going to land. So I'm going to add that. But for right now, it just displays on the screen so that it's easy to balance for me so that I can see maybe some things cost too much or too little, and probably work with this to make a playable version of the game before I polish up the UI. But it's visible here. I can see how much things cost. Now I've temporarily set fire all to deal 100 damage and it'll just kill everything. So one thing I'll show when I do it is that any damage now displays damage numbers above the enemies. That wasn't true before. I had to rewrite some code to make that happen because I was only passing like normal attacks through that function. But now any damage at all will do that. So right here, we got 100 damage, and they die. I'm lucky I got a recruitment menu here. So I'll say yes. And then what we're going to progress to is a level up screen or an experience gain / like reward screen. It's very unfinished. It's just mechanically I've worked on it. So when I go here, actually, I just noticed there was some negative numbers here. I've got some sort of bug, but it ticks up, fills the bar, all of them simultaneously. Have it do it in increments and then check. So like if it passes to the top of here, it's going to check in that increment whether the level up has gone. So it ticked up there in the middle of the process. We should have here the number of experience points remaining to award. I have some sort of bug with that. Gold awarded, and then I'll have a place for items, although I haven't quite worked out the tables for like item drops and things like that. Then we go if anybody has leveled up, and I think this guy did. We go through them in order. Then we have level 2 to level 3. There's going to be some animation here and like better UI, text and all that, but right now I just am focusing on displaying the information. We have their stats and then how many points you're adding to it, and then when I hit confirm, then that ticks down and they get added. So see again, another example, the healer has leveled up. Actually, the fire mage has also leveled up. So that's the level up screen. Still has a lot of work to do. It's not going to look like that. It's just functional. More worried about displaying the information and having it work mechanically. One more thing I've done is added a visual representation to the status effects that are applied on enemies, because I have icons down here when the party members are affected, but I don't want to have all the icons just, I don't know, surrounding them or next to them. So I have a visual representation. So this is an animation. I drew a crude green bubble. I'll improve it at some point, but I was just playing with the particle system in Godot, and you can see that I just flagged them all as poisoned to show it off. And here, I'll just make it their turn, and we can see that they actually take the poison damage. For burning, I just reused the fire animation that I had for my torches, but I'm going to make a better one. Oh, we can actually see fear because I had burning have a chance of inflicting fear, and I just put like a shake, but I think I'm going to do something else. These were all of these were kind of lazy, and it was more about putting in the code that would display the effect, and they're all going to be improved. But it's also nice to see something while I'm like making more content out for the game. But like visually, so much needs to be changed. So burning, I got just a flame effect in the background and like fear shaking for now. Then we have the charmed particle effect, the hearts, and the sleep particle effect, the Zeds, which are a little hard to see. When they're berserk, I put a red shader on them. And then here's my temporary fix for showing that they're blinded or silenced. This X was supposed to be kind of roughly over where their mouth is, and the blindfold roughly where their eyes is. But to make it look better, I think I might have to put like an anchor, depending on the specific character sprite, over their eyes and mouth, and then possibly have it animate. This is just a crude drawing I did. I'll probably have some sort of like black cloud animation there, and then I mean, you see how much this head is moving. I'd probably have to have the X and blindfold like move with the face. But that would require like having an anchor and then setting like custom positions for like each frame of the animations, and that's polished that it doesn't need right now to be functional. But clearly it doesn't look great the way it is. But I can see what's happening in a battle, so that's great. And just for fun, this is what it would look like if you inflicted the enemies with every single status effect at once. The last major addition I want to talk about is just these buff and debuff icons. I'm going to be working a lot more on buff and debuff abilities in the future. For right now, I just worked on some code that would like dynamically based on what level of buff you're at. So you can go 3 levels up or 3 levels down, and this will check and add like the 3 arrows here for strength, defense, that's -3. This is -2 for mind and +1 for agility. The icons again were like a rough, just really ugly, but just something to put there. This week I was so much more focused on like code and getting functional mechanics. Like I bounced back and forth between being like, okay, I'm gonna finish a whole animation. I don't want to show ugly things in my devlog anymore as much, and then feeling like I just want to do code, and then completely reversing that and going back to doing temporary assets. So some of what everything I showed this week is pretty rough looking, but it's just that like alternating between like put something in the game, then polish it, put something in the game, then polish it. So yeah, this is rough. I didn't like work on a lot of buffing code, and there's a lot of things I need to change about it, add more abilities. But a lot of things in the background needed to change as I was making this and as I was making the status effects on enemies. So there was a lot happening in the background this week, and that's about it. A lot of working on functional battle mechanics, and hopefully I'm getting to a point where I will be able to add mostly content in some devlogs coming up. I think another mechanical thing that I want to work on in the next stretch is probably the fusion mechanic. Now that I have the cleric and soldier in the game, to add the paladin, and that's like my example fusion that I keep giving. So that would be the first one that I base everything off of and then make tables from there. But yeah, thank you to everyone who continues to watch, and hopefully I keep saying I want to see you next week. I've been doing every 2 weeks so far, but it's just been a really busy month, though it's entirely possible I'll see you next week. And again, thank you for watching.